Hey friends, Heather here from the Sewing Loft, and today I'm super excited to share a new block that I designed for my friends at Annie's to share with all of you. It's the Cactus Trio, and during this video I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks on how to make each segment. To get started, you're going to want to print out your instructions and gather a few fabrics. You can see here that I pulled together a range of shades for my green, and those will be for my cactus. I have a neutral background and then 2 pieces for my pot. You're also going to need a couple of extra supplies, which are a heat erasing pen and just any standard quilting ruler. So go ahead and get started with that, and then we're going to head off to the next tip. With your piece that's cut, it's time to do the prep work. You're going to take all of your smaller squares and turn them right side down. And we're basically going to be using our heat erasing pen and our ruler to just draw a line from corner to corner. And this is going to be our stitch line that we're going to use to create the little details on each of the cactus segments. From there, I like to just lay out my pattern so that it's easy to actually stitch everything together and not lose place. So I'm just going to line up all the pieces and get a general idea using my main diagram as my guide. And this will make it really easy when we go to start stitching. You won't lose track of anything and you'll be able to work each segment. Let's move this over to the side. My top piece, upper corner. Oh, I got these mixed up. See that? That's why it's so good to take a minute and actually put them together. Okay, and then all of our little pieces. So now I like to work in segments, and the best way to do that is to pick one piece that we're going to start with. So starting with the top unit of my center cactus, I'm going to position my squares on the outside upper corners and just stitch directly across that line. Once stitched, you're going to trim it away and then press it to the outer corners, and that's going to give you the top of your cactus. Once pressed, you're going to want to join it to the upper left corner piece labeled M. Press it off to the side, and then you're going to push this, then you're going to set this aside. But what we've just created is the basis for each one of our cactuses. So let's start with the next one. Put that one aside and let's work on the tall, thin one. Now this one, you'll notice it has a piece of background fabric in the one corner, and then it kind of falls into the middle cactus, so we're going to use one of the darker green squares. So go ahead and stitch those down, press, and continue to assemble this to your K. The last cactus segment is a little trickier. We're going to actually be making it in 2 sections, and the first has these 2 shades of green and just the square in the corner. So go ahead, add the square to the corner, trim your seam allowance away, press it, and then you're going to stitch these 2 together. This is going to give it that 3D effect. And you're going to want to give this a good press before you move forward. But now you can take these sections, right? So we have our top. Let's push things a little out of the camera view for you to see. And I'm going to take all of my pieces. So we're going to take our pieces right here. So now we're going to put together our 2 cactuses. It really has the center and then half of the other. I'm going to join these 2 together. Be sure to press while you're working. I'm doing this just on camera, and now we're going to attach that piece to our taller cactus. You can really start to see it take shape here, and now I'm going to add the top of the center cactus. And you want to make sure that you're pressing as you work. Now with this piece completed, it's time to work on the bottom portion of the cactus and this side. So I'm going to set this piece aside and pull out the other pieces of my cactus. And you're going to notice that I need to now add another one of those little corners for the background so that it gives us the shape of the top edge of the cactus. Okay, be sure to trim as you go, pressing your corner out, join your pieces together, and give them another stitch. For me, it's really important that I press my work as I go. This will give me a nice flat seam and ensure that my block is pucker free at the end and nice and aligned. So from here, I'm just going to join my top corner and continue to build the outside piece of the block. Now you can really see the cactus come together, and this is the entire top of what we just made. We're going to use all those same techniques to create the bottom portion of our pot. To start with, I'm going to take the top detailed edge of my pot and the bottom and just join them together at the machine. Use your standard 1/4 inch seam allowance. Stitch them together and give everything a good press. Then from there, you're going to take those squares again and you're going to put them at the bottom corners and stitch down that center line. Do that on both sides. Now once you have them stitched, you're just going to want to trim away all that seam allowance because you don't need all that bulk on your quilt block. And normally I would take it over and use the rotary cutter, but I'm going to just eyeball it and trim it away with my scissors. And now I'm going to head over to the ironing station and give everything a press before I add on those side pieces. And then it's all about just putting the bottom portion, my little pot portion, to the top to finish off the cactus trio. I really hope you enjoyed learning a couple tips on how to make the cactus trio, and I wanted to give a special shout out to my friends at Annie's for inviting me to share this with you. For even more easy quilt blocks, be sure to come find me at thesewingloft.com. Until next time, happy stitching!